as you could tell by the title and the fact that you're currently seeing that, I just finished looking at Mini Lad's thing, and I'm pretty sure you guys all remember the stuff that went down years ago. And I scrolled through some of the comments, and he isn't sorry. Are you five? You really doubt it? Blah blah blah. I'll follow up with my official opinion after I watch every second of this, and if 11 hours, 15 hours later, 66 hours later, eventually, some guy said, "Oh, I get it. You're not watching it." And he said, obviously, some comments are completely unrelated or whatever. Tried to sneak this by, blah, 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 blah. You can't help but be proud of the weight he's lost. Nope, mostly agrees. It just, you know what, like, okay. Like, okay, come on, guys. Like, honestly, like, this might be a very unpopular opinion, but like after watching that, I actually think he's being serious. Like, just how his mannerisms are, just all the stuff from the quotes and stuff, how he gets high pitched when he emphasizes certain things. It feels natural. Yes, some of you, if you want to be overly goddamn cynical, which I think is a horrible way to live, like being cynical to a point is a good thing, because obviously you should be cynical to a point and ask questions and be like, like, really though, like, there's a time and a place for that, especially in the realm of science, because being cynical and asking questions and trying to discover things and not just blindly assume shit like we did back in the old days with like the heliocentric, wait, was it helio, no, geocentric model of the solar system and blah blah blah. Like, I could, there's tons of examples, that you know what I mean. Like, there's a time and a place for that, but sometimes it's just not worth it to be cynical, or it just causes problems, or it just really takes a damper on your outlook on life. And after watching that full, like, 43-minute video, I honest to God think that was very, like, it felt organic in my opinion. And again, yes, you could be cynical and say he's a YouTuber, he's been doing this for years despite taking a break, like he probably knows how to, like he knows how to, like, oh, okay, fine, you know what, maybe you have a point, but like, at this point, like, what does he have to gain by doing that? Like, again, being overly cynical, you could say, well, he's trying to win favors so he can get remonetized, and it's like, I mean, look at his goddamn views. I'm sure, like, I mean, yeah, he has like over 4 million subscribers, but you can tell by his views that most people just basically stopped watching him. Like, they're still subscribed, whether it be for nostalgia or like an easy way to go look up his old videos, because I'm sure a lot of us have random nostalgia trips. I mean, I had some when, like in the middle of all the crap that went on with him, right? I remember having some nostalgia, and I went and watched some Mario Kart videos and had some laugh, and I went, God damn, Mini Lad, because of what was going on. So I'm pretty sure that's probably why his subscriber count is as big as it is. Otherwise, I'm positive it would be a lot smaller. Because he does have some great content that's fun, and there was a time for a while where I preferred watching him over most of the other crew. Like, over Nogala, Terrorizer, like, there was a time where he was my favorite, but then again, as you grow up, you change, and there was a time when most of them were my favorite for a while before I decided to switch, whether it be for one reason or another. But this is just rambling at this point. But like, everything he said feels really organic and natural, and he feels serious, and and like, that's not exactly something that's easy to do, especially when you're trying to lie out your ass and manipulate an agenda, like, unless you're really good at it. And it's like, people, like, yes, he fucked up. I agree, he fucked up. It was wrong, abso-fucking-lutely. But it's been 2 years about, and like, and the thing is like, he makes great points. He does. Some of you don't want to admit it. Hell, there's even some of you that commented and didn't even watch the damn video, which I believe, considering that one comment about, like, I'll give my final thoughts after I watch every second of this, and then he never gave the final thoughts, or if he did, it's way the fuck down there, and I'm not going to search for it. But it's like, he makes really good points, especially with the mental health, like YouTubers and content creators and the privacy going out the window and being a machine. He makes a lot of very good points mental health wise, and he did blow up when he was young. I mean, have you ever looked at a child celebrity and seen how their life turned and they took drugs and stuff like that? Like, I mean, I'm sure right now, the internet being the internet, you could literally go look up child celebrities, like childhood stars, and then just go look at their biographies on Wikipedia or something, you know, and I'm sure there's a number that follow a fairly similar path, even if they did different projects and blah blah blah. Like you see what I mean? It's like he makes great points as to why things led to where they led, and as someone myself who obviously has had some, like, I think honestly nowadays, especially in America, mental health is kind of normal. Like, you're not human if you don't have some mental health problem, especially in a country like America that's, you know, compared to other places, isn't exactly, you know, the safest place in the world or the nicest place. I mean, sure, it could be worse, but then again, if you when you compare something to another thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem with comparisons. Like, you know, if I compare America to the UK, you know, America might be worse in some aspects, but it might be better in other aspects. But then if I compare it to, like, you know, African countries, you know what I mean? You know, the pros and cons shift depending on what you're directly comparing it to. Like, comparisons can flip flop at any moment's notice by just changing the comparison. But like, I've gone through some mental stuff, especially when I was younger, because I'm 23 now. I myself have multiple friends. I'm obviously not going to go into their history for privacy reasons, because I'm sure you guys watching this wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't want, you know, your privacy being, you know, told to the world on the internet. But without giving names and without going into the nitty gritty, like, I have multiple friends and even relationships that have had fairly severe mental problems, and just even something as small as just sticking with them and letting them know and proving day in and day out that you're not going to abandon them, even if it takes years, they can make, like, I've seen it firsthand, they can make massive recoveries and be a way better people and live happy lives. I've seen it. I've literally been there for the journey, and as someone who likes to think they have a fairly good understanding of mental health, even though it's different for everybody, but again, multiple friends and relationships and stuff, you know, I like to think that my grasp is, you know, at least a bit more than average, but I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, well then, whoops, you know, whoops, indeed. But like, honestly, like, yeah, my hair. I just realized my hair is not. Well, a headset hair. Screw it, right? You know, like, it's, especially since it's long and I don't have it in a hair tie. This is kind of normal, but just realized how bad it looks though. but that's not important. But honestly, like, you know, like, this is kind of an analogy on what my opinion on the mini lad situation is. And this might be pretty damn controversial, but, like, it's like with Michael Jackson and allegedly him molesting kids and stuff. Even though it's wrong, if he did actually do that, I think he should be forgiven. And immediately I know the comments are like, you're an idiot. And it's like, well, no. You're born into life equally, but then the outcome is not guaranteed. Like, we all come into this world as babies, you know, and we come in as equals with nothing, and then depending on our parents and blah, blah, blah. Like, we come in equal, but we don't end equal. And Michael Jackson is a prime experience of that. Like, he is not your average, everyday person, regardless of if you're middle class or working class or whatever. You know, you're going throughout your day, you're working, you're trying to save up and, you know, start a family. You're not making millions of dollars, making music and, You know what I mean? Like content creators, like with Michael Jackson, share a few things in common, and one of which is like being an outlet for people, for an outlet for people's depression. I remember like when I was going through depression and stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that can attest to doing the same thing. I almost guarantee it. Where you would watch someone like Mini Lad or listen to Michael Jackson or Nickelback or whoever the hell else, right? And it helps, right? You just have your own way of dealing with it, your own source of media or whatever that helps you cope or whatever, right? And you know what I mean? And it's like Michael Jackson, the king of pop, from Thriller to Billie Jean to Smooth Criminal, all kinds of shit. Like, think, and then even amazing song. Not to say he's a perfect human, especially if you know about his past with his dad and everything. Like he's by far a perfect being. I'm not saying that he ain't perfect, because he's not perfect. And yes, he's probably made his fair share of mistakes, some pretty bad. But it's not. But I don't think people deserve like I do believe in equality to the point in terms of gender and blah blah blah, but I don't think you deserve to be equal when you're proven otherwise. Like you're not gonna treat a murderer the same way as you would a guy walking down the street with that same level of respect. No, he's a murderer. He murdered children or something, right? No, of course not. Just like you wouldn't treat Michael Jackson like a normal guy walking down the street because he's because he's the king of pop. He's made amazing songs. He's helped you through your depression or anything negative with his amazing songs. Whether it be "You Are Not Alone" or "We Heal the World." Very powerful messages. "You Rock My World." Made pretty good love songs, and you know what I mean. It's like the fact of the matter is that like striving for equality in the sense of not discriminating against sex or race or whatever is amazing, but no one is equal. That is a fool's mindset to have. Murderers are not equal to someone like me, who's a normal average Joe just trying to get his life together and doing YouTube on the side as a fun hobby. Like Michael Jackson's not the same. Like, he's way above me despite all of his bullshit because of the amount of people he's helped. I mean, even if it is only through his music, you'd be amazed how powerful that kind of shit is. And I know this is a big, broad analogy, but I'm pretty sure those of you that have personally experienced something like that and have listened to his music or even other artists' music or whatever, and you just have that really nice sense of security or comfort when you're watching or listening to whatever, right? That's my point. Michael did that, just like Mini Lad and a bunch of other content creators have done that, to varying degrees, whether it be 1 million people, 2 million, 3 million, 1 billion, it doesn't matter. The point is like, by virtue of having that under their belts, they are not on our level. They are very much above our level. And I don't think it is unreasonable to take that kind of stuff into consideration, especially in the case of like Mini Lad or the content creators, where they can kind of devolve into machines, especially when you blow up at age 17 when you're still very much growing up. Like, obviously each country is different with their own flaws, and some people can get more successful doing normal jobs at younger ages in some countries, and blah blah blah, right? There's a bunch of variables to be had there for sure, absolutely. But he's still very much 17. He still probably has a lot of growing up to do, and now all of a sudden making thousands of dollars trying to keep that. And again, he's right. Like, the algorithm, you take a break, you get fucked over because it's an algorithm. And his points make a lot of damn sense. And I don't understand why everyone is like saying he's not sorry. Like, I mean, I get it for cynical reasons, but it's like, as far as I remember, it was just the one thing. Not to say that he might have done smaller things, because again, he is human, and especially with that kind of stress, being a YouTuber at a young age and trying to keep consistent with it. No, I almost 100% agree that he's probably done smaller things that we might not be aware of. But then again, so have I. So have you. So has damn near every other goddamn person on the fucking planet. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. We're all human. We're entitled to make mistakes, and that's how you grow as a person. And sometimes making a horrible mistake, even though while it sucks and is horrid in the moment, can give you a certain insight and help you be a better person later in life. And it looks like that was the case for Minnie, or Craig, whatever you want to call him. And just, I see it in his face. I see it in the tone of voice as he just gets like an octave higher with some things he says. And I know from experience that I usually only get that way when I'm in the throes of passion of what I'm saying. You know, I don't go an octave without being passionate like I just did. I overemphasized it because it needed emphasizing. I feel it in my soul. Like, you don't see me with a script. I mean, the only thing they have next to me is my phone, for God's sake. You know, like, I mean, well, I don't script anything. I guess I'm not a big fan of scripts. You know, like, I like to be more raw and true to myself for the most part. But like seriously, like, you know, just like how I truly believe that, even though it's fucked up, if those things were true with Michael Jackson about molesting kids, I think he well and truly made up for it from people like me and millions and millions and millions of other people getting helped through their depression through his music or whatever. And also inspiring us to be better people with songs like We Heal the World and Earth Song. For those of you that have watched the music videos and stuff, like, you know, he's not a perfect person, but he was an inspiration. And he's not a normal person. He is Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Just like any other celebrity or musician or whoever that has inspired people to be better. You know, inspired people to a degree that is just not possible for your average day-to-day human being like myself, since I only have 33 subscribers. Like I said, I'm only doing this for a hobby. Like, I could do like a video tomorrow and make a massive speech about how we need to be better and to try to inspire and lift people up. No one's gonna see it until years later. I would still very much be in that normal average Joe boat. But Minnie Lad, Michael Jackson, and a plethora of others, whether it be other YouTube content creators from PewDiePie, Markiplier, or whatever, or other artists like Nickelback, or fucking even Justin Bieber, you know, for people that really love his music, or fucking Cardi B, or Will Smith even, because he has some great songs. Like, you get the point. Like, they are not average people with average day-to-day tendencies with little to nothing going on to make them better than average and to be treated as such. They're not to say that, again, that they're human and they have their own sets of flaws, because damn right they do, but they inspire the other people, the average, like myself and probably most of you guys watching, to be better in some sense. When you listen to songs again like We Heal the World or Earth Song or whoever or whatever, you know, they help us through our depression and get us back to who we need to be and who we are, you know. And I think and that's something that needs to be considered. I don't think like, oh, you know, Michael Jackson molested kids, and then people immediately ignore, oh, like I remember, like, my brother, for example, saying, like, I will never, like, I'm paraphrasing because it was years ago, I don't remember exactly, but it was like, you know, he was a pedophile, right? And he was like, I don't know why you listen to his songs. It's like you're supporting a pedophile, because, you know, and it's like, well, no. Even if that's true, well, one, even if you don't want to support the pedophile himself for whatever reason, that doesn't mean the songs aren't worth it. That doesn't mean Billie Jean isn't an amazing song. And even if you want to cut out the songs that don't exactly have a meaning and they're just really fun to listen to, like Smooth Criminal, what about songs like We Heal the World or Earth Song about pollution and stuff? Like, songs like that have real life meaning, that are supposed to be an inspiration to do better and treat others and our world better. Like, you know, those messages transcend the artist. That's something we should all strive to be, you know what I mean? It's like, even if you feel that way, there are exceptions There are very clear exceptions. And I don't think people, at least in my personal opinion, I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like, you need to consider a lot more than just, oh, they're a human being, everyone should be equal in every sense of the word. Therefore, he did something bad, we need to disgrace him or something. It's like, no, Michael Jackson, even with that, even if he was a pedophile, he is nowhere near on the average level. He has done incredible things, from amazing concerts that gave people so much joy and inspiration, to the amazing, powerful messages from Earth Song, for example, or Mini Lad, just all those people watching him, and him, just helping people through depression with his funny Mario Kart videos when he rages or something, to even now with his seemingly very sincere video that I brought up and everything he went through, and him explaining what he went through and the machine mentality, which some YouTubers that are probably starting out like myself, that's good things to keep in mind and good advice to take. Like, still trying to help others. And I genuinely don't see, why everyone is being overly cynical. I mean, like, again, I get it, but he's not your average Joe. He's something more. Even despite everything, he is still something more. He has done more. He has done, here's the fucked up thing. I think people don't understand is that people like Michael Jackson and Mini Lad, Will Smith, and all these people, by virtue of doing the things that they have done, from movies to songs to content creation on YouTube or whatever, they have transcended normal human. Like, some people don't want to admit that. Some people just want to say, well, they're still human. They need to be held accountable. Yes, that's true, but you can't just disregard the fact that they're on a different level, because they are, and it's asinine to think otherwise. A normal human being has not helped millions of people overcome depression with a single like a single song. That's not a normal human thing. That is, you have transcended what a normal human being can do at that point. Unless, again, you happen to write an amazing song and you get it published, which, again, in theory, anyone can do that. But again, how many of you are going to do that? How many of you are going to sit in the studio and try that? Unless you guys genuinely have music as a passion, in which case a lot of you guys are already doing your part. Starting on YouTube, making your own stuff, like Zach Boucher, for example. Forgive me if I butchered the name, like doing Kingdom Hearts raps and stuff, like, kind of taking a twist on another passion. Like gaming and music, right? It's just, come on now. Like, you can't just ignore all of the incredible shit over here because they did something really fucked up over here in the scale of evil to good, if that makes sense. Because obviously, like, pedophilia and stuff's an evil act, and it's like, no, you have to judge them in the entirety of their being. Like, you can't just ignore it. Michael Jackson, assuming he did do it, and I'm still very skeptical, but again, we'll go on the what if even if he did do all the pedophilia and do horrible stuff, that doesn't just immediately negate helping millions of people overcome their traumas, whether it be through random songs that don't mean much like Billie Jean, or inspiring people to treat the world better like the Earth Song. You can't just negate that. And the same thing goes for Mini Lad. Like, how many years? He started in 2013, I remember correctly, is when, like, he blew up or something. I might have the date slightly wrong, but you get the point. He blew up, was on the platform for a long time, helped people like myself, and probably millions of others, get through depression by watching his funny content. To see, listening to him do Rap God in the middle of Friday the 13th and escaping because Jason let him go. Like, just funny moments that were just fun to watch and fun to listen to and helped you get through the day when you were otherwise struggling. The average person watching this video, whether it be right now, if you're one of my 33 subscribers, or if you're one of the very few people that happen to find it despite me not being in the algorithm, or if you find this video years later when I hopefully get to 1 million subscribers in the far future, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't just disregard all that because he did something fucked up. Like, especially when he makes really amazing points to your mental health. and just what content creation can do to your mental health. And I actually am kind of privileged that because of my lack of subscribers and the fact that obviously because I have no monetization and I need to get a life and get a job, which I'm in the process of doing. I just got my associate's degree very, very, very recently, like a few days ago. So looking for a job, hoping to do with computers and computer repair and just IT stuff, you know, like, it's just like you can't. I'm getting frustrated talking about this because like people need to like I'm a blunt person, and there's probably gonna be people in the comments saying like you're stupid for that mentality with Michael Jackson. You're basically defending that action and thus defending Mini Lad and what he did. It's like, no, I'm not defending it. It's horrible. I'm just saying that I don't think that immediately negates all of this. And I think, if anything, we should be cautious. We should take him to task and say, you're fucked up, and watch him like a hawk. But I don't think we need to deplatform him or cut out their songs and burn every copy of Thriller or something, Like, come on now. I mean, seriously. Like, there's a ton of people that that believe like he's a pedophile, and I get half of and I bet you over half of those people probably have the fucking Thriller album. So it's like you're still supporting him, or at the very least supporting a pedo's songs. So what's the difference with Mini Lad? Like, like I mean, that's my thing. Is like, what's the difference? Because I know for a damn fact there's a ton of people that shit on Michael Jackson and genuinely think he's a pedo because of all the shit, and they turn around and go listen to Earth Song or Billie Jean or Smooth Criminal because they're fucking iconic tracks, right? Like, come on now. So why can't we do the same for Mini Lad? Just acknowledge that he's a human, acknowledge that there's a lot of mental health stuff that go into content creation. I guarantee you every other content creator, especially ones that are rolling in subscribers like PewDiePie or Markiplier, where as long as they keep up the constant content making, they just roll in dough from all the ad rev, provided they don't get demonetized in that video. It's like, come on now. Mini Lad is not a normal, like, I'm not saying we should feed his fucking ego, because I do think, like, everyone's ego, whether it be Michael Jackson's or Mini Lad's, whoever, need to be in check. We don't want them to feel like they're better than us, even though they are. And I think it's folly to not think that they are, because they're doing things that we can't. I can't help millions of people. Like, I can't just release a song tomorrow and immediately help millions of people. Like, it went viral in a day, and millions of people were immediately helped through their depression. Like, it just helped them cope, Not saying it was a damn cure, but it was that much needed thing that they needed to help push them along and to get better, Like, I don't have that. Probably over half of the people watching this don't have that, unless you're a well-established content creator or I happen to have a celebrity watching me, which is probably not the case. But it's like, no, whether you like it or not, all people are not the same. We're not all on the same level. Michael's not on your level. He's above your level. Mini Lad is not on your level. He is above your level, but not quite Michael Jackson territory. And again, you can't discount all this because of this, or whatever. You get the point. Like, do I think we should keep Mini Lad in check? Absolutely. Do I think we should watch him like a hawk in case something like this happens again? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't want shit like this to happen again, for sure. Do I think we need to make sure his ego stays in check? Because if it goes too far, this could happen again potentially. Maybe. I kind of don't think it will. I think he's really had a change of heart, but again, if somehow for all the cynical fuckers, I'll entertain you. Like, like, fine, watch him like a hawk, but but I don't think he's beyond a second chance. I don't think, what he did is like deplatforming him, just going into his comments and saying he's not sorry when none of us know what he's thinking. We're not his therapist. 90% of the comments don't even know him personally. You're just like focusing on the horrible thing that he did, and you probably think he's a monster instead of someone with mental issues. You're not giving him the benefit of the doubt that he just needs help, which he, from how he explains his therapy, is the case. He got help and he's trying. It's just like, dudes, give the guy another chance. I don't think he's beyond redemption. I don't think that it's wrong to give him a second chance. I don't even think it's wrong for us to remonetize him. And if anything, especially if he's willing to go in depth in his therapy and talk about the tricks that he's learned to help and get into the nitty-gritty of his mental state when he first blew up as a content creator and how it affected him and blah. These are things that are really good to know. Like he could be very educational even for a lot of us like myself that are very, very, very early on YouTubers that want to grow bigger. Like he has potential to come to rise from the ashes as a phoenix, so to speak. If dare I make a Harry Potter reference, but he can do that, and I don't think it's wrong to allow him or want him to do that. Like you guys need to stop being so cynical, and just trashing his comments. Like, I mean, I get it, but dude, it's been years. Enough is enough. Just let the guy move on. You don't. Like, I mean, seriously, life is already bad enough with fucking stupid bullshit politics, especially in America, because God forbid we can't fucking compromise in politics anymore, like we used to be back in the day. Like drunk drivers killing people, murderers, school shootings, all kinds of shit. Life's already bad enough. You don't need to add fucking trolling over stupid shit on the internet to it. Life's already shit enough. We should all be working together to make it better and to stop this shit and be willing to give second chances, even if you do have to put some conditions on said second chance, which I don't think in some cases is a bad thing. I think it makes perfect sense to do that. Like, god fucking damn it. Just leave the guy alone and just let him back onto the platform. Some of you guys might think I'm being too forgiving, but it's like, no, I know firsthand from personal experience and having multiple friends how crazy it can make you, and mentally, because it just how hurt you are and just how fucked up you are in the head, and you just need help and support and all this, and you end up doing stupid shit. Every single one of us, to one degree or another, knows how it is, whether it be from personal experience or through friends. And for those of you that happen to be the lucky few that haven't had to go through that, just you wait. I guarantee you life's about to fuck you in the ass, so to speak. And you probably will have to experience that. And I know YouTube might, I don't know. Like, YouTube might try to suppress this video because I'm cussing like a sailor damn near, but it's like, I cuss. I like to cuss. I don't know why. That's just how I am. And I try to use it mostly for emphasis, as you could tell by how I word my sentences. I don't directly say, you're a fucking asshole. Like, you can tell by how I lead up to it if I'm directing it to you versus using it for emphasis, or just saying it because I like to say it, but honestly, like, this is just people in the comments, just give Mini Lad a break. Like, that's my honest opinion. I like, despite how bad it was, I honestly don't think it warrants this kind of stuff. Like, yes, maybe in the heat of it, when he's currently going through it, when he was currently found out, and like, the backlash was very appropriate. So that way, he could get pressured to get help, and it seems like he did. It's been years. I think we're at the point where we just kind of need to let it go and just acknowledge that despite what happened, he was a good person despite having mental issues. I don't think that's wrong to think. that we can't have some faith in him and give him some support so that way he continues to be motivated to go to therapy and stay better instead of being cynical. Because I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this, but that kind of shit in the comments is what pushes people to not get better. When you try your best, you go to therapy, and then you have millions of comments, or every friend you have or every family member you have saying, "Oh, we don't think that's enough. We don't believe you. Blah. You're gonna do it again." They have no faith in you, and then that affects them, and it sets them back. Like you don't understand how powerful words can be. like yes, yes indeed, I do believe the phrase that words, only have the power that you assign them, and to a point I agree with that. Like, you can choose to take it to heart, but especially if you're going through something crazy, like mentally, like, because mental health is a serious issue. Like, when you're going through stuff mentally, you know and especially when it goes out in the open, and you have something like what happened to Mini Lad happen, the whole internet knows about it, and you see millions of comments saying you're a fucking asshole, and deep down that what you did was horrible, and you're trying to be better. You just went through a lot of mental health, and then you go through therapy and you do all this stuff to get better, and then come back to YouTube just for people to say, "We don't give a fuck, get out," after you're trying to do what your part in being better. That hurts. You can't help it. Like, there's a time where, like, words only have the power you assign them, and then there's times where words will always have the power, and that's kind of the case that we're at now. Well, Mini Lad actually looks like he's in a place where he could kind of care less, but even still, it's like, come on, that kind of stuff pushes people to stay negative and keeps them from making progress. Like, everyone needs to support each other, or at least try to, anyway. I just realized that we're at 36 minutes, and I know that there's probably parts of this that I've kind of rambled and recited in a different way, but the problem is that in reality, everyone's mind is different. Everyone interprets things differently, and sometimes you need to say something in a different way for it to make sense, and the fact that I know that is probably why I tend to say things in different ways multiple times. If only because of that, and to burn it into the people that just don't want to admit that this is the case. Burn it into their heads, hopefully, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I think that's it. Moral of the story here is just like, it happened years ago. What's done is done. And the video looks sincere. He looks like he is really trying to do better. And we shouldn't punish people, for having mental health issues, especially when they're thoroughly explained and it makes perfect fucking sense what they explained, what led up to everything. Which I think Mini Lad did a great fucking job of. If you guys don't agree with that and think it's bullshit, fine, you're entitled to your opinion. But fine. I think it makes sense. I think, how he explained it was very well articulated, and I very much think he deserves a second chance. And I think a lot of you guys should support that too. I mean, again, what if you guys were going through something horrible mental health wise, and you were just really depressed, but you had the pressure of trying, let's say you have 1 million subscribers or so your livelihood is mostly dependent on YouTube. You don't have time to go seek help or whatever, because you're at that very narrow margin where, like, it's not like you have 38 million where, like, you could take a week, and if you get kicked out of the algorithms, you still have 38 million subscribers that are probably watching your account like a hawk. You'll probably be fine. You're making, like, way more money than people with, like, 1 million subscribers do per video. Like, come on now. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. Like, if you were in that sweet spot where, like, as long as you kept very consistent and super on top of it, you would be well off. But the moment you don't, you are going to be in financial hell. Like, it's because I know there's probably YouTubers that are like that. Like, that would affect your mental health horribly, especially if you were already dealing with stuff beforehand. You know what I mean? And then you spiral and you do stupid stuff because depression makes you do stupid shit. That's why it's called a mental illness. You're not all there. Like, be considerate of that. Because I know for a fact there's probably a number of you that have had low-level mental health issues but haven't properly experienced the height of how badly it can get. And the thing is humans, being humans, that's something that that's one thing that we all struggle with, is if we don't have the experience, it's really hard to accept the views of someone who has currently going through it or has experienced it prior. It's like, without that frame of reference, it's really hard to entertain that thought. We all have that problem. Let's be honest here. But anyway, I'm ranting a bit too long, almost 40 minutes now. Probably went off the rails a little bit, but I don't like scripts and I don't like editing stuff like this, especially when it's raw and passionate and coming to the defense of someone with, like in this case Mini Lad, with mental issues, and people just being unnecessarily cynical or whatever in the comments, at least in my opinion. Just, this is my honest thoughts. And yeah, the comments, in my opinion, even though you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not going to stop you from sending those comments because I think that's wrong, but I am obviously going to give my opinion back, and my opinion is that a lot of those cynical comments I don't think were justified and were a little unfair, to be quite honest with you. And so even though I didn't need to, I felt the need to come to Minnie's defense, and I think you guys need to shut the fuck up, in my honest opinion. Not to say that you have to, obviously, because you're entitled to say your freedom of speech, I firmly believe in, but I also, as such, believe in my freedom of speech to tell you I think you should be quiet because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or your opinion's just stupid. But saying I don't think you should say your opinion and that it's stupid is different than trying to silence you. Will I try to silence you guys that have these opinions that I don't agree with? Fuck no. Do I think you should shut up? Absolutely. But then again, you guys probably think the same to me. You guys are like, you know what? You're so stupid, that mentality with Michael Jackson, blah, blah, blah. Just be quiet. But, and you guys probably would like me to be silenced, but a lot of you that truly value freedom of speech, you wouldn't actually do it. Wanting and doing are not the same. They're completely different things. But, so, anyway, rambling, done. Just give Mini Lad a break, for God's sake, honestly.